Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you guys an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you grabbed a snack, stayed for a while, and click the subscribe button. I would love to have you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you can see by the title of the video, my Dior order came in and I did purchase a palette and a blush from the collection by Dior, Birds of a Feather. So if you would like to see the two looks that I create and what I think about the blush that I did purchase, then just go ahead and keep on watching. All right, guys, before we get started on me zooming you guys in for the two eye looks, I just wanted to go real quick over what I did purchase from the collection. I only purchased two items and one of them is the blush. This is the unicorn for it. And the blush came in a little pouch. Super cute. I did order directly from the Dior website. The blush is going to run you for $45. It has a 12-month shelf life and it is made in Italy. Here is the gorgeous blush. That embossment is absolutely beautiful and I hate that I'm going to ruin it. Very simple. I don't mind the packaging. I know a lot of people think it's a little too blah for what Dior is, but to me, it's fine. It's simple. I like simple sometimes. All right, and I did purchase one of the Quint palettes. This is the unicorn, and this one has a 6-month shelf life, which is crazy. Like 6 months, really? And it was made in Italy. Here she is. Out of the two, this is the one that called to me the most. It just reminds me of the color wheel. So this little yellow mustard color right here, yellow is the opposite of purple and right in between yellow and purple is red. So to me, it just kind of makes sense. I did get rid of the little brushes. I actually gifted those to my toddler. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and dig into these eye looks, and after the eye looks we'll put on the blush and yeah. All right guys, let's go ahead and get started on look number one with the new Dior Quint palette, at least one of the new ones. I was only able to pick up one out of the two, as I already mentioned, and this is just the one that I gravitated towards the most. So why don't we go ahead and get started. All right guys, I'm going to use a reference number 14 and I'm going to dig in to this beautiful mustard yellow shade right here. As you can see, I haven't even swatched this. Oh. And I'm going to focus this on my inner corner. It looks like it's the only matte in the palette. All right guys, there is what that shade looks like. I definitely wish it was more pigmented. I definitely had to go in about 6 or 7 times just to get this payoff, which sucks because it is the only matte shade in this little Quint palette. Okay, I'm going to go back in with the reference number 14. I did wipe it. I am now going to go in to this shade right here, which looks like it's a purple brown. And I'm going to focus this on the outer corner. All right, this is what the eyes are looking like. I did go in with a reference 15, which is like a fluffy brush, and diffuse the edges of this shade. I definitely feel like this shade looks more brown than anything on the eyelid. It does not look at all like it looks in the pan, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Now we are going to dig in to this middle shade right here, and it looks like a pretty little pinky shade. I'm going to put this on the lid, the inner part of my lid. It's very smooth. Okay, this is what it's looking like. I did go back in and retouch the outer corner and this mustard yellow. So a common theme, I did go and watch a couple of reviews on this palette, and a common theme was that this little mustard yellow shade started to disappear. So I thought maybe by putting it in the inner corner, the crease of my inner corner, it might not do that, and actually did start doing that. So I did go back in and build it up again. I was hoping I could prevent that, but I did not. I just wish the shade had a little bit more of a punch because it's such a beautiful color, you know? All right, now I'm going to go into this beautiful shade right here, and I'm using a Refer 13, and I'm actually going to smoke this out on my lower lash line. See, now this one is pigmented. I wish that mustard one was like this. Okay, that's what this shade looks like. I love it. I think so far that is my favorite shade. Now we're going to use the fifth and final shade, and it's this beautiful, it looks like a little off champagne color. I am using a Morphe and Ariel 818. I'm going to use this in my inner corner and in my brow bone. All right, so I'm going to hop off camera and put on some mascara and lashes real quick, and I'll be back. All right, guys, here is the final look. I did go in with a brown eyeliner in my waterline, and I did tightline just a tiny bit. I definitely feel like this eye look came out pretty good. It's definitely what I envisioned before playing with the palette. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you like this look. I will be doing another look that will be completely different, which will be look number 2, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on this palette and if I think it's worth the $65. But yeah, here it is. All right, guys, let's move on to look number 2. All right, eyes are nice and primed. I did use my Makeup by Mario eye primer. Let's go ahead and dig into this palette again. And we are going to start with the yellow mustard shade. We're going to use that as a transition shade. I'm using a Refer number 15. And as you already know from my first look, this shade does not have such great payoff. So we're going to keep most of these colors in the outer corner. Hopefully I can build this up well as my transition shade, but just like the first eye look, it did disappear as soon as you started layering on top of it. So that's kind of annoying. I'm just going to build this up as much as I can. All right, here is that shade. I built it up as much as I could. This shade is honestly just very disappointing, which is the shade that I was the most excited for, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to dig into this shade right here, and I am using a Ariel and Morphe collab brush, a 20. I'm going to make this shade the focus of the eye look, and I'm going to put it in the crease and also in the outer corner. For sure, out of all of the shades in this palette, the one that's the most impressive. And it's a gorgeous color as well. Okay, and that's what these two shades are looking like. I am now going to go into the purple brown shade. And I'm going to just add a tiny bit of depth in the outer corner. I'm using a Refer number 12. This shade definitely does not look anything like it does on the pan at all. At least for me personally, I don't feel like it does. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Oh yeah, and every shade I used at the top, I went ahead and brought it down to my lower lash line, as I'm sure you guys can tell. Okay, this is what we have so far. And actually now that this little purple brown shade is on top of that shimmery red shade, I feel like now it looks like the actual color, but just on its own, on top of the eye primer, it doesn't. It looks like a very dark purple brown instead of a purple with maybe some brown in it. I don't know. Okay, now we're going to jump into this shade right here, and I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to switch around. And the first look, I use this as my inner corner and my brow bone. For this look, I'm going to use it in the lid. See how that goes, and I'll use the other shade as the inner corner and the brow highlight. I'm also going to bring it on the inner corner of the lower lash line. Okay, here it is. Pretty much almost done. Now I'm just going to go into that middle shade and I'm going to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone. This shade is also very, very pretty. It's a very beautiful, like pink with a very slight purple tone to it. It's gorgeous. Okay, here is the eye look before mascara and lashes. So let me go ahead and get that on. I'll show you a close-up. We'll zoom out, get the blush on, and I will give you guys my thoughts. Okay guys, and this is the final eye look. I did put on some Eyelure lashes and I used the Urban Decay Glide On Eye Pencil in Smog. It's like a chromey brown. This is what the final look looks like. I am really loving it. It did come out a little better than I expected, and I didn't lose too much of that mustard yellow, which makes me so happy. But here it is. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one is your favorite, number 1 or number 2. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom out and get this beautiful blush on my face. All right, guys, now that we are all zoomed out, I'm thinking maybe I should bring you a little bit closer. That's good. Okay, now we're going to dip into the blush. Here it is one more time. It's so pretty. The fact that I'm going to destroy this embossment is just breaking my heart. So I picked this shade out of the two. They did have another, it was like a rosy, like a muted rosy nude shade. Is because that shade looked a lot like the older Dior blush that I have. So I didn't want to buy a blush that, especially because I was paying so much for it, $45. Yeah, so I figured I would get this one instead of the other one. I'm going to use the Morphe and Ariel brush. This is the A22, and I'm going to dip right in. Definitely pigment on there. I am wearing also the Dior bronzer. I went ahead and purchased it and I am liking it. I do need to use it more and see. But so far, I think the tone is pretty nice. Okay, so there it is. So the sheen, or like little pearls, whatever you want to call it, is not too bad. I think it's complementing my skin more than anything. So I'm okay with that. All right, here is the blush. I do really love this. I think the shade is beautiful. It's not too opaque, like there's not too much pigment right off the bat. I do feel like the brush that I used definitely helped with that. It's a very fluffy brush. I think that helped. Here's a swatch of the blush. So it's definitely a very bright shade. I'm okay with that. Thanks to Babs Beauty, I'm kind of into a little bit more of a pop on the cheek. Okay, I am going to show you swatches of the palette right before I give you my final thoughts. I did bring my Dior luminizer so I can get that on my face as well. Okay, so let me just finish everything up and we will talk. All right, I got the rest of my face on. All I did was the highlighter and my lips. I just want to show you just how much I've been really using my Dior luminizer. I think right now this is my favorite highlighter. Here are the swatches of the palette. Yeah, that mustard yellow, it just, I swear, it took so much just to get the small payoff that I already have. Yeah, it is like the worst shade ever. I would have 100% enjoyed this palette completely if it wasn't for that mustard shade. I'm really disappointed in it. I guess you can finally guess what I'm thinking about this palette. It's a beautiful palette. It really is. It's just this shade right here. It sucks. And for you paying $65 for this Quint palette and for one shade out of the 5 not to work, it's like, you know, I mean, you can make it work, you know, you can kind of see it, but it really takes so much to get this payoff. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that because it's Dior and it's expensive. It's definitely not a palette for everybody. The formula, it's not going to wow you. The shades in there, you know, are nothing original. The formula is nothing original. I definitely do feel like the formula caters to the more mature eyelids. I do have some fine lines in my eyes, and I definitely feel like these formulas tend to not accentuate those fine lines on my eyelids. So I really enjoy that. I definitely feel like Dior does cater a tiny bit more to the older audience or the more mature audience. I'm not saying that if you're in your 20s, you can't wear this. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just you might not get what you're expecting if you do purchase a Dior palette, at least from what I have experienced just with this purchase alone. But you do get a super beautiful classic eye look, you know, like this is something I could see myself wearing to an event. Say I'm going to like a dinner anniversary or maybe even a wedding. This is definitely something I could see myself wearing for sure. All right, now let's get into this gorgeous blush. It is so beautiful and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. The shimmer or sheen it does have in there, it's not too much, at least I don't feel like it is. It's more than like the Charlotte Tilbury in the Look of Love palette or the Pat McGrath. It's definitely a different type of sheen, but it doesn't accentuate any of the little bumps that I do have, because I do have a couple on my face. So I'm definitely happy with the blush, and I'm definitely happy that I did end up purchasing this one. The blush was $45. I'm pretty sure I already mentioned it somewhere in between there, but blush is $45 and the Quint palette is $65. So yeah, it's pretty expensive. Would I recommend these products? The Quint palette, it's okay. You definitely don't need to break the bank to go get it. That one shade honestly is a huge disappointment, and for 25% of the palette not to work as you would, you know, want it to, since it was $65, I do feel that's a big like knock off to actually say, yeah, go get this palette. The palette, I would not say I 100% would recommend. For the blush, if you are looking to purchase a beautiful corally bright classy blush by Dior Beauty, then I would say yes. $45 is quite a bit of money for just one blush, but I do feel like it is such a beautiful color. I am 100% so happy that I ended up getting this shade over the other one. So if you're a Dior fan or if you're a makeup collector like myself, I definitely do feel that you're not going to be disappointed with this color. There it is. There is what I think about this collection. The two eye looks that I hope you enjoyed. I definitely have fun creating them. It was nice working with this different formula. It was different, but nice. And I think that concludes this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little review. It's like my first full-on Dior collection review. Even though it's not the full collection, like it's my first Dior Beauty collection review. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. I would love it if you gave this video a big old thumbs up. It would definitely help me out in the algorithm and hopefully bringing some new and fresh eyes to my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family by clicking the subscribe button. I would love to have you. We are so close to 500 subscribers, and as soon as we hit that 500, I will be doing my giveaway, which I am so excited for. Okay, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.